Workers' Day don't finish. Yeah, the Workers' Day ended. And while some of us were sitting at home and chilling, some of us that were happy for the holidays, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, went on Arise TV and decided to call out some people. Like a lot of people have been asking that he call out these people since, but he did not do anything. Now he has decided, okay, he don't do. On Workers' Day, I've decided to call out these people, and it was very funny. This is the assessment. I remain your host, Tricks. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And follow me as I give you undiluted assessment. May 1st, most of the times, is usually uneventful. Like, because most people don't even really celebrate the Workers' Day except from Labour Congress and its other members and everything. Most people just sit home and watch TV. But it was not the same this year because we were actually given enough things to watch on TV. Arise TV was giving us a lot of very, very interesting things because Peter Obi decided to come outside and drop some bombs. Like, he decided to reply people, and it was very funny. He replied the Minister of Information in the person of Lai Mohammed. You might find out weird because there's Lai there. It's not the Lai that you think. It's Lei. That's his name. You get? Some people will say that the name actually describes him. I'm not saying anything, but I'm clarifying the name for you. Yeah, Lai Mohammed, you can recall that some months ago, Lai Mohammed went to Washington, D.C., and where he decided to meet the international press. In his own way, he said he was there to clarify the misconception of the 2023 election. And he was calling Peter Obi a fascist, and he was saying that Peter Obi is guilty of treason, which is funny because treason is a very serious offense in Nigeria. And if somebody committed treason, the person won't be chilling in his house in Onitsha. He will definitely be arrested by the DSS and prosecuted. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that was thinking this because that was the same thing Peter Obi was saying. As he said in this video, let's watch.
Called for your arrest, accusing you of treason. Do you see any links between your activities lately and any treasonable offenses?
Charles is the height of rascality. Height of rascality. That it was even announced in Washington. I committed a treasonable offense, and I'm in Onitsha. And my minister went to announce it in Washington. This is what I'm talking about. We're not talking about waste in governance here. People don't want to understand. The amount it costs Nigeria for him to go and announce that in Washington can fix, I can tell you, I've been in government, can build a block of 6 classrooms in a primary school. I'm sure if you go to his village, there's so many places.
The thing that is paining Peter Obi, is not even the accusation of treason, because it's laughable, because we all know that there's no treasonable offense that was committed by Peter Obi. It's not the accusation of treason, it's the fact that the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, decided to go to Washington, D.C., as in, who was he telling in Washington, D.C. that Peter Obi, who is in Nigeria, who is not arrested, who does not have any warrant of arrest against him, that is chilling in his house in Onitsha, committed treason. Like, it's very funny. And he's right, actually. Nigerian politicians never take anybody seriously. I'm sure if you go to the minister's village, you definitely see schools that were not built. And that money that was used to go to Washington, D.C., I'm sure with a lot of aides, with over 20 aides as they usually do, will build blocks of primaries. And Peter Obi is actually correct. Very, very correct. And you now ask yourself, what was the thing that caused this treason, Seth? Well, did Peter Obi say any treasonable offense? Because I'm sure you are thinking, where did Peter Obi say something that was treasonable? Well, it was the statement of his vice presidential candidate in the person of Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. A statement he made one time like that, that talked about how the handover should not happen, blah, 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 several things. I'm sure you know. That was the statement that was being called a treasonable offense. Now, the question is, who said it? Is it Dati Ahmed or is it Peter Obi? Dati Ahmed that has said it has not been attacked, but it's Peter Obi that has been attacked. I'm sure you know the answer deep inside. I'm not going to say it. You know why Peter Obi was attacked. And I'm sure that thing that your mind is telling you. You see that thing that your mind is telling you that is the answer. That is the answer. Well, that was not the only reason. Several other things have been happening. Sometimes we heard that Peter Obi was arrested in the UK. He was deported and several stuffs. And a lot of propaganda has been pushing around. And a lot of people had that question. Peter Obi, have you been deported? You have citizenship, blah, 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 blah. And there's issues with citizenship of the president-elect with Guinea or something like that I'm not going to say allegedly before DSS come and carry me. Well, Peter Obi was asked that question in this interview, and he had this to say.
As you said, you lived in London for a long time. I mean, do you have dual nationality, either British, American, or elsewhere? Because I was reading somewhere that you were conferred with the honorary citizenship of Dallas, Texas in 2022.
Charles, you know what that means? It means nothing.
Yeah.
Even one of the presidential candidates said that it means nothing. It just shows that, okay, well, if you come into this city, you're welcome. It doesn't even give you a visa. If you apply for a visa, it can't even help you for your visa application. It means nothing. Charles, I've never applied.
Right.
And I will never apply for citizenship of any other country.
Yeah, but
I'm a Nigerian.
Right.
But I believe in Nigeria. I lived in the UK for a period of about 12 years. I had a permanent stay.
So you were a permanent resident in the UK?
But I had indefinite stay,
right. Okay.
Which means I can stay there for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But when I left the UK in 2025, I went back to them and said, take your stay. I'm no longer having, and I go to the UK with visa.
And also to clarify the fact that even if you were a permanent resident, that
answers the question itself. There's only one candidate. There's only one candidate that has had issues with every single. Okay, there's only one person that has had issues with everything, with age, with his citizenship, with every single thing. And it's funny that consistent attacks keep coming on this person. One thing that I would say, I'll be the first person to say it. There's no politician that is innocent. There's nobody that is a saint. I don't think there's any politician that can be called Jesus Christ himself. But one funny thing we should all know is that we always pick the best out of us. And if a political candidate who has a lot of baggage is not receiving much scrutiny as somebody who has less baggage, then there's something that we should all ask ourselves. Like, it's very, very funny. It's very, very hilarious at the same time, because once I think about it, if they give me UK permanent residency, will I even drop it back? I'm not going to answer that question. But one thing you should know is I love my country. And several other things, issues have been happening in Labour Party these days. There are several other plenty issues, because they've had issues of who is the real chairman. There has been different court injunction saying that this is the chairman or this is the chairman. And Peter Obi was asked that question basically because it concerns him as the presidential candidate of the party, and he had this to say.
On in the Labour Party.
There's nothing happening in the Labour Party. I like what you said. There's nothing wrong in Labour Party. It's the same rascality that is going on all over the place. The chairman of Labour Party is Barrister Julius Abure. That I can tell you.
But you have to admit that all this wrenching, wrangling and sort of petty fights and quarrels over positions, etc. I mean,
which position are they fighting for?
Well, I mean, we see it virtually every day.
Because people are paid, people are hirelings, being paid to distort funds and everything. For example, Charles, I've never met Mr. Papa. And supposedly, you can say that I'm a meaningful figure in Labour Party. I'm the presidential candidate. So, but I've not met the other party chairman, and he's not looking for me. So, there was a purpose. It's because of the transactional politics we do, where rather than spend our energy and time trying to do the right thing, We spend our energy and time trying to do the wrong thing, paying people to do the wrong thing, paying people to pay
But
because we
Peter
live
Obi
off
is
this
brutal,
confusion.
basically. He's a very brutal person. He knows how to attack you at the same time and not sound very disrespectful. Like it's something, a perfect skill that he has. He said this rascality that is going on where some people are being paid to cause disruption. We all know who they are referring to. We know. We know who they are referring to. You know the person that he's talking about. That's just the funny thing. When an opposition is saying that a particular political party doesn't matter, they are small, there are 4 people tweeting in a room, and all this kind of thing. And this opposition is exerting so much force, is putting so much focus on destabilizing that particular political party, then it shows you something, and it's something that you should actually look into and think about. Nigerian politics is very complex. On the 29th of May, we are going to have a new president, and we will support him because he's the constitutionally placed person. Let me say, he's the person that is recognized by the Constitution as the president, and we can only support him. We have to support him and pray, because not only pray, I will pray and pray that this stuff works out. If the court case works out, good and fine. If it doesn't work out, we have another 4 years to focus on and put pressure, consistent pressure on the government to deliver. That's it on the assessment today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Don't also forget to catch me here next time as I give you undiluted assessment. I remain your host, Trix.